Well, from Leo Hook yesterday, we go to another fighter with a 200-plus fight career, and that fighter is former contender Jack Mccarron. So we will go through Jack Mccarron's career, starting with his major fights. Now, Jack Mccarron, of course, started out with 2 fights against former lineal middleweight champion George Chip. Mccarron scored 1 win and 1 loss. He also fought to a draw in a singular fight against another former middleweight champion, Al McCoy, before losing a singular fight to the Giant Slayer Jack Dillon. Next up is Mike O'Dowd, the excellent southpaw former middleweight champion, defeated Jack Mccarron both times in their fights, and Mccarron also fought former light heavyweight champion Mike McTeague to a draw. Next up is 2 fights with former light heavyweight champion Jack Delaney. Mccarron lost 1 and drew 1 from those 2 fights. He did split a 2-fight series with the great St. Paul Phantom Mike Gibbons, scoring 1 win and 1 loss. He also twice fought the excellent Billy Misk, Hall of Famer. Without losing one of those, he scored 1 win and 1 draw from 2 fights. He also scored singular wins over Hall of Famers Jack Blackburn and Hall of Famer Jeff Smith. Next up is indeed Leo Hook, who Jack Mccarron fought on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win, 1 loss and no draw. Good morning, Matty. Good to see you, buddy. Mccarron also fought young Striblin in a singular fight, suffering a defeat. He then fought an 8-fight series, severely losing it against Willie K.O. Brennan, former middleweight contender. He scored 1 win, 6 loss, 1 draw from those 8 fights. Strange results, really, considering how well he'd done against other top names. He then scored a singular win over tough former middleweight contender Irish fighter Mike Donovan before fighting Tommy Sullivan to a draw. So there's Jack Mccarron's first slide. He's lost a number of fights there. He's also gained wins over George Chip, Mike Gibbons, Billy Mish, Jack Blackburn, Jeff Smith, Leo Hook, Willie Brennan and Mike Donovan. So some great names he's beaten there. So on to his second slide. Mccarron fights young Lowry on 2 occasions, scoring 1 win and a draw. He then fights former Harry Greb opponent middleweight contender Joe Burrell 5 times. Mccarron scoring 4 wins with 1 draw from those 5 fights. He then fights the capable Dave Kurtz 4 times, again suffering no losses with 2 wins, no loss and 2 draws. And then he twice fights tough former middleweight contender Buck Krause, scoring no wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Next up is Eddie Revoir. Mccarron fought him 6 times, scoring 2 wins, 1 loss, 3 draws. He also 4 times fought the well-travelled Jackie Clark, scoring 2 wins and 2 losses. Next up is Jacob Bartfield. Mccarron fought him 5 times, scoring 2 wins with 3 losses and no draws. He also scored a singular win over young Tommy Coleman before then fighting Frank Mantell 4 times, again with no losses against Mantell, scoring 2 wins and 2 draws. Mccarron then also twice beat K.O. Willie Lachlan from 2 fights before then, beating twice a fighter who beat Harry Greb, of course, Joe Chip. Mccarron fought him twice and beat him twice. He then fought and lost to the excellent Lou Bogash before the final name on here, losing to Jimmy O'Hagan. So there is 67 major fights there, for a contender, which is quite a tally. Mccarron scored 28 wins, including 23 losses and 16 draws from those 67 fights. I could be wrong. I think this man was your first 10 in opposition for rate. Yes, I believe he may have been. Yes, I believe he was. Yeah, I believe he may have been. I'm not 100% sure, actually, Martin. First time I'd done that on my video, so I'm not fully clued up on where everyone was with what score, being the first time. But yeah, I know he scored very highly. And, the wins he scored on slide 1 alone, is very impressive. So let's go on to his stats now. Mccarron scored 28 knockouts, 9 knockouts in 3 rounds or less and 1 in the first round. He scored 0 KOs against champions, Hall of Famers, pound for pounders, and as a pre-rating era fighter, he scored 0 KOs against rated fighters. And in terms of rounds boxed, Mccarron fought a total of 1,784 career rounds. He fought just 2 title fight rounds, and he fought totals of 76 rounds against champions, 110 rounds against Hall of Famers, and 126 6 rounds against pound-for-pounders. Now, in what are much reduced numbers, he fought 52 rounds against top 10 fighters, 42 rounds against top 3 fighters, and 22 rounds against ring champions. So, for Mccarron, we now go on to the first of the 3 slides covering the 3 opponent categories. The first is champions. Now, Jack Mccarron, has a worse record against champions than he does against Hall of Famers, which is a bit strange. He had 9 fights against champions, including 1 win, 5 loss, 3 draw. He defeated 1 individual champion, that being George Chip, of course, who gave Harry Greb those good fights, and he scored knockout over 0 individual champions. But when we go on to the Hall of Fame slide, we see a different story. He had 14 fights against Hall of Famers, including 5 wins, 7 losses and 2 draws. Now, Mccarron defeated 5 individual Hall of Famers, and great names they are: Mike Gibbons, Billy Misk, Jack Blackburn, Jeff Smith, and Leo Hook. Now, Jack Mccarron scored no knockouts over Hall of Famers individually, but they are mightily impressive names right there. When we go on to the pound-for-pound category for Mccarron, he had 16 fights against pound-for-pounders, with a record of 6 win, 8 loss, 2 draw, and he defeated 6 individual pound-for-pounders. Now, 5 of them are the Hall of Famers: Mike Gibbons, Billy Misk, Jack Blackburn, Jeff Smith, Leo Hook, and the other pound-for-pounder he defeated is former champion George Chip. So Mccarron is one of those fighters who was well-travelled. He fought a who's who, really, as a contender. When you look at his actual resume, in terms of quality of win is actually better than modern Hall of Famers. Now, he never even gets a mention to anybody, but, some modern Hall of Famers have nowhere near bet those level of names right there. Some of those names there are some great fighters in their division's history. Leo Hook's one of the great weight movers. Jeff Smith, Mike Gibbons, of course, great middleweight fighters and worthy Hall of Famers. Billy Misk, light heavyweight to heavyweight Hall of Famer. So he's beaten a good set of names there. So on to his record against top 10. Now, Mccarron has severely reduced numbers here, being a pre-rating era fighter, but he has 5 fights against top 10 fighters with 1 win, 2 loss, 2 draw. He has 4 fights against top 3 fighters, including no wins, 2 loss, 2 draw, and he has 1 fight against a ring champion that is a defeat. So in his vastly reduced numbers, he defeated 1 rated fighter and scored knockouts over 0 rated fighters. Now, Mccarron is plagued with the same bug as many others in terms of he didn't win a title. He did actually get 1 title shot, in his vast career. That was a defeat, so he has no win, 1 loss, no draw as title record. Thus made no title defences and scored no title fight KOs, and also scored no wins against rated fighters or champions, Hall of Famers and pound-for-pounders. And Jack Mccarron was never awarded a belt, so world titles he captured was 0. He also captured 0 lineal titles and 0 undisputed titles. Now, the thing about Mccarron, and one of the reasons why I like highlighting fighters like him, as I'll highlight another fighter people don't know very well, Babe Herman, over the next week, is many of these fighters, people are going down resumes, having a look at resumes, and they see these names, and they don't know anything about them. They don't know when they see Mccarron on Leo Hook's resume that he beat 5 Hall of Famers himself. They don't know that he beat Hall of Famers who, accomplished great things across multiple divisions, from lightweight to heavyweight. They don't know that, you see. And part of the reason why this time on my playlist, I'm not only putting all the champions, Hall of Famers and major names, I'm also doing videos on many fighters who don't get talked about on YouTube at all. So if someone in future sees Mccarron on a resume and thinks who's he, they can come here and look at his career itself. And what you find is with young Lowry, young Ahern, young Earn, Jack Mccarron, Babe Herman, you find with many of these fighters, they have incredibly tough resumes, and many of them scored many great wins themselves, and that is why I'm going to highlight all of them going forward. These playlists are going to become immense over time. By the end of next year, they're going to be filling up like crazy. We're literally hordes of fighters across all the divisions. So, big shout out to Martin in the chat. Good to see you, buddy, as always. Always appreciate your support, mate. You mean well to me, mate. Having you around, it's been a pleasure. I am thinking maybe in the next few months about reenacting StreamYard. I got rid of it because StreamYard ran an update. I'll just tell you what happened. I used to have StreamYard before, but I cancelled it because it ran an update, and then the microphone were always crackling, it were always cutting out, and for some reason I tried solving it through StreamYard, but I couldn't seem to get it figured out. And me as a person, if it ain't working, it's gone. Simple as that. I'm not wasting a penny on something that isn't working properly. But I am thinking in New Year of reenacting StreamYard, so I can do odd live streaming it all there, just a general live stream. So I can rant and rave or chat to you guys or whatever. But yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't fully decided yet, but I may. Just in case any day I want to jump on. But I'm going to try and not just jump on and wit a minutiae that after 2.5 hours I think, well, what point of that? You know, everything I go on about is going to have a purpose and points to highlight. But anyway, there's my latest video, Jack Mccarron. Many more videos coming over coming days, weeks, months and years. I'm the Boxing Librarian, and I'm out for now.